Hey everybody, long time no see. It's Mama M from the Pagan Mama and MamaMsWorld.com. I am here for Medium Mondays again, and I have lost another couple of weeks with this because my little one is in kindergarten and life gets a little bit hectic, and then I got sick last week, and it's just been like, all the time. But I'm here, and I have your questions, and I'm ready to answer them, so let's get started. Elizabeth asks, how did you realize you were a medium? When I was a little kid, I had lots of imaginary friends, and not just people who had a name, but people who had a name and a backstory, and I knew what kind of cars they drove and what kind of pets they had and what their siblings' names were, their whole life stories. And my parents thought it was just kind of an overactive imagination because I was the only little kid around. Their friends didn't have any kids yet. And as I got a little bit older and a little bit older, and I was still talking to these people, kids at school would not necessarily make fun of me, but tell me, we don't have imaginary friends, we're too old for that. So I kind of stopped talking to my special friends. And as I reached my teenage years, and this is like a fast forward version of this story, so I'm skipping a lot, but as I reached my teenage years, I got a little bit more curious about the fact that I could still, I guess the correct word for what I thought was happening would be fantasize about what these people were doing and what their lives were like and yada yada. And looking into various different religions and trying to find an explanation for it is kind of how I stumbled upon paganism in the first place. And when I was about 15 years old and all of that started kind of coming to light again, I used to hold these seance type things in my bedroom where I'd get a candle and I'd turn all the lights out and I would ask yes or no questions, kind of like a form of divination where it was also incorporating talking to whatever spirit or spirits happened to be around. So I guess kind of like a cross between divination and like Ouija type stuff. So I would say, if the answer to my question is yes, make the candle flicker twice. If the answer to my question is no, let it hold, let the flame hold still, something to that effect. And I would ask a series of questions and they would all line up just perfectly. So at that point I figured I really am talking to dead people. This is not a fantasy life. This is not a form of having imaginary friends. This is really happening to me, and I have to figure out how to harness it and how to work with it. And it's kind of been an ongoing process ever since, which has been about 16 years now. And literally every week I learn something new, and I figure out how to fine-tune things a little bit better. And literally just this week, the other girls from the Pagan Mama have had some spirit visitors, and they've gone, who's in my house? Poor Poppy's like, who is in my house? Seriously, tell me who is in my house. And I'm like, it's your great grandma, and it's been really easy for me to, all of a sudden, really easy for me to go, oh, well, it's this person, and they say this. Whereas before I kind of had to wait for the spirit to come to me. Now it's really easy to just kind of close my eyes for a second and then pop back with, this is who it is and this is what they want to say to you. So it's an ongoing process, but that is the long and short of how I realized I was a medium. Gretchen wants to know, is there a way to find out and enhance it if you are? And I take it what she means is, if you are a medium, is there a way to enhance it? And if you don't know if you're a medium, is there a way to find out if you are? Everybody is to a certain extent. It's all about not dismissing the easy signs. We've talked about before the songs that come on the radio, the smell all of a sudden of your grandma's perfume or your grandfather's pipe tobacco or whatever it is. Don't ignore the signs. Everybody is a medium in a different way. A lot of people just chalk it up to coincidence or overactive imaginations, like I said before, or a lot of people will go, well, I was just missing my grandpa and then I thought I smelled his pipe tobacco, but you really just did. That was his little way of saying, hey, I'm here, don't worry, I'm still with you. To enhance it, I would say do a lot of meditation, but be not so much be aware, but keep in mind that it can be all-consuming, and especially this time of year, the thinning veil, as we've talked about before, it gets really, really easy for spirits to communicate more frequently and more freely and more in your face than they normally can the closer we get to October 31st. So it can be a little bit overwhelming, and you need to really first focus on learning how to shut it off before you focus on learning how to enhance it and keep it on more often. Because if you just work on enhancing it and you don't figure out how to stop it so that the spirits will leave you alone and let you live your normal life, then it can just be all consuming, and it's really distracting when you have a life and you're trying to do other things. Evangeline wants to know, what or who is it when you keep seeing a glimpse of someone in your home? Are they wanting something or what? In my experience, when spirits show up in the form of shadows or lights or something that you just keep catching out of the corner of your eye, it's more of an awareness thing. Some spirits, I think, the less time that they've been in the spirit world, so to speak, the less experience they've had with figuring out how to interact with people on a easier basis. So instead of just seeing something out of the corner of your eye, you'll get a more obvious sign. Also, it can just be a family member or even like a guardian angel type person. Poppy and I were talking about that last night. Protective spirits that act as your guardian angels, they just kind of hang around, and so you might just catch them moving out of the corner of your eye, and sometimes it feels like you're seeing them all day long over and over again, and it gets a little spooky, like, what in the hell is going on in my house? I just keep seeing these things floating around, and it just probably happens to be that you're more open that day, more spiritually open to seeing them in that form. So nothing to be worried about. Generally, spirits don't want anything. They don't need help getting to the other side. They don't need help trying to find the light. All the TV type stuff, that's all just TV stuff, exactly that. They can freely come across back and forth between the worlds. They don't need, help crossing over. So it's just a little hello. And if you happen to get uncomfortable with seeing things like that in your house, you can tell them to leave. They'll listen. It's really easy. Just lay down the law. Tara is asking, how do you enhance your abilities, which is part of the question I answered a few minutes ago from Gretchen. So I'm not going to answer it again, but I did want to acknowledge Tara. I'm not sure how you pronounce that, but hi. And Jessie also asks, basically, how do you open up? How do you enhance things? Which is also part of what Gretchen had asked and I had answered earlier, but I want to acknowledge Jessie too. I want to, again, tell you guys to check out thepaganmama.com if you haven't been there yet. That's our new website from the Pagan Mama's Facebook page. Of course, Mama M's World is still up, mamamsworld.com, the online shopping community where you can check out all the metaphysical stuff brought to you from a witch, for pagan, by pagans. And I really work on keeping my prices low for you guys so that you can get the supplies and stuff that you need without, spending everything in your bank account, which is why I opened the store in the first place. If you are in the northern Nevada area, Mama M's World is about to become an actual storefront. Probably after the first of the year, but we're hoping to do some kind of a soft opening / sneak preview of everything on Black Friday 2013. So I will keep you posted on that. As always, if you have questions, comments, or anything that you would like to speak your mind about, please use any of the methods of contacting me that will be listed below this video on YouTube, through the Pagan Mama on Facebook, through Mama M's World of Magic on Facebook. I will try to do a video once a week, like I said, for our Medium Mondays, and I will try to answer every question that comes through. So thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you next week. Bye.